I wanted to come on here and talk about this bombing that occurred in Tennessee recently. It's getting a little bit more traction than I expected it to get, considering the circumstances. But I would consider this to be a domestic terroristic attack because, of course, it happened in the U.S. and this was no accident. They said that this was intentional. And this happened on Christmas morning, by the way. So it's still very fresh, a very solidly fresh story. And one thing I noticed before I even get into the article is they have not mentioned any names. We don't have any identities. And when that happens, we usually know what that means. I'm not going to jump out the window and say what it is because there could be a case that I'm wrong. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read the article and see what else they're talking about. It says, possible human remains were later found near the blast site, U.S. media reports. Police believe the powerful blast was caused deliberately. Officers responding to reports of gunshots just before 6 found a camper van broadcasting a warning message to leave the area. The van exploded a few minutes later. A police officer was knocked off their feet by the force of the blast, officials said. Police have now released this image of the van, described by Nashville police as a recreational vehicle, or an RV, arriving at the scene early on Friday. The van blew up outside a building belonging to the telecoms giant AT&T, which also occupies an office tower nearby. Buildings suffered structural damage, windows were blown out, and trees fell. Video posted on social media showed water from damaged pipes running down walls as alarms howled in the background. I wonder and I know they said that this was deliberate and this was intentional, but I wonder were they going after the AT&T building? Well, let me take that back. I read that wrong. They said that this van blew up outside of a building belonging to AT&T. I wonder if they deliberately went to that AT&T to do damage to that building, like specifically them, and everyone else was just a casualty. Because you gotta think they were very specific to put it outside of an AT&T building. They could have put it anywhere else, but they put it there. Just an observation. Police emergency systems were knocked out across much of Tennessee. Flights out of Nashville International Airport were briefly halted as a result of damage done by the blast, but have now resumed. I wonder what kind of bomb this person used, because this thing sounded like it had a pretty wide range as far as effect goes. No motive has yet been established, nor do police know who was behind the incident. A number of people have been taken to the Central Police Precinct for questioning, a spokesman told the Associated Press. It was not clear whether anyone was inside the vehicle at the time of the explosion, police said. The FBI is leading the investigation. Agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are also involved. Resident Buck McCoy said he had been woken up by the blast. He posted a video on Facebook showing some of the damage done, with alarms howling in the background. All my windows, every single one of them, got blown into the next room. If I had been standing there, it would have been horrible, Mr. McCoy told AP. It felt like a bomb. It was that big. The explosion hit an area of Nashville known for its restaurants and nightlife. To this point, we do believe that the explosion was an intentional act, police spokesman Don Aaron told reporters. Oh, most definitely it was an intentional act. Like, look at the message that it was left in that van. Like, listen. When someone sets off an explosion or a bomb, that's never an accident. Let's just be real here. It's not like it was some faulty wiring that happened to cause this explosion. If there's a van parked outside of an area and it says leave the area immediately, I would have been putting on my running shoes and I would have been hauling ass in the opposite direction. Yeah, this was no accident. This was definitely intentional. No one sets a bomb up on accident. Like when someone creates a bomb, they're doing it with the intent to blow something up. Just like whoever was responsible for this. CCTV footage posted on YouTube appeared to show the moments before the explosion, when a warning was broadcast saying, "If you can hear this message, evacuate now." A loud bang follows and flames and smoke filled the screen. "It looks like a bomb went off," Nashville Mayor John Cooper said, urging people to stay away from the area. "This morning's attack on our community was intended to create chaos and fear in this season of peace and hope, but the spirit of our city cannot be broken." In a tweet, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee pledged to supply all of the resources needed to investigate what happened and who was behind it. 45 has been briefed on the matter. That's crazy. That is wild. But yeah, and also with the intentions of a bomb is how long it takes to make a bomb. Like, you can't even make, well, depending on how small or how big the bomb is, you can't even make a bomb in a day. And based on how they described the explosion and the impact of this bomb, it looked like it took them a while to make something like this. And based on the blast radius and, all the other businesses that was affected, even beyond the blast site, this person or persons, because it could have been more than one culprit who put this together, knew exactly how big this blast would be and what it would affect. Like, they strategically planned this out, and they strategically and intentionally made this bomb to put it right in that spot. But, they said they don't know who did it so far. They have been questioning people, but it looks like they don't have a suspect, which means at the time we don't know what the motive of this person was and why they did it. And it's crazy because I was just watching the movie Speed the other day. And if y'all know the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, the guy was obsessed with making bombs, and he did one with with one bus, and that one blew up, and then he tried to blow up another bus. If it gets above 50, it activates the bomb. If you get it below 50, it blows up. So who knows why this person did what they did. But, that is scary at the same time. But I don't think I saw anything in the article, unless I missed something, about anyone dying from this. They just said there were some injuries. But I hope they make a speedy recovery. And I'm looking at a picture right now of this RV that was used in the explosion. But yeah, that's a bad look right there. That's scary. But I want to know from my subscribers who live in Tennessee, because I think I have some Tennessee subscribers. What have y'all heard about this? Because maybe y'all heard more than I have, because, that would be more of a local matter. But of course, because it's an explosion like this in a state, in the establishment, of course, it made national news. But I want to hear from y'all, especially if you live in that state of Tennessee. What are your thoughts about this? Who do you think probably did this? If you had to guess, why would they do this? Because it's hard to guess why at the moment, what the intentions of a person doing this for. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video on that note. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you have your notifications turned on to all, and I will talk to you in the next one. So I wanted to come on here and throw this particular part into the video, and good thing that I waited to upload this video and then jump to do it. Otherwise, I'll have to do a separate update. Well, the most recent update that has come out today, or maybe in the last day, between the 26th and the 27th of December, is that they have identified the individual who was responsible for the bombing in Nashville, Tennessee. His name is Anthony Quinn Warner, and this is a picture of him when he was in high school. Now, this is not a recent picture of him, but this is the picture that was attached to the several articles that have been written up about him. And of course, you can look at this picture and tell that this was back in the 70s, clearly, because they said that he was 63 years of age, and he is also deceased. They said his remains were found with the wreckage in which was used to create that bomb. So he was probably inside of that RV when he did it. He probably had tinted windows so nobody could see inside. But yes, he is the one that is responsible. As of right now, they're not sure if there was anybody else that was involved, but they know that he was the person of interest. And I knew that when they started to say that they found a person of interest, when that usually happens, that person of interest 9 times out of 10 is the person who actually did it. But this is him right here. This, like I said, this is an older picture of him from clearly the 70s. He was 63, and he's the one that was responsible for that bombing.